Hello, I think we might be live. So, welcome to the Auroch Digital Friday stream. We're joined today by special guest Nils Hellberg from Large Visible Machine. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
If you want to pop into the chat, say hello, let us know you're watching, that would be great. Today we're going to be playing Battle for Sector 219, which was a game that Nils developed. It's on Steam now. There's a link below, and we can get you all started with that soon enough. We're going to be playing that today, talking about the development. It's all very exciting. So I thought we could just get started. We'll start playing through the game, kind of talk through as we go about the development of it and stuff, inspirations. So if you want to get us started.
Yeah, so to give a little bit of background, this is based on an existing physical card game.
Yeah.
So this is like the digital version of that game.
Great. And that's Battle for Hill 218?
So Battle for Hill 218 is the precursor to this game.
I see, yeah.
And it's like, it was fairly successful back in its day.
Sure.
And that's the first digital game I made, was a license.
Right, I see. Version. And am I right in thinking that was on mobile?
Yeah, that was iOS only. So that was a few years ago when that was a viable strategy.
Yeah, and when was the board game from?
Probably like 10 years old or something.
I see.
So they did a Kickstarter for the follow-up.
Nice.
So this exists as a physical card game as well. And as a stretch goal to that Kickstarter, we took care of the digital implementation.
Is that your first experience with Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Nice. How did you find it?
Well, so it was the publisher of the card game ran most of it, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing to be a part of, isn't it? Yeah, we ran one for elections of US America, our physical card game, which we might have spoke about in one of our previous streams. If we haven't, we are probably going to cover that in a future one, so look out for that. Be sure to tune in Friday, 4:30 UK time.
Proud backer here.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, it was based on the card game first.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what it is, it's like, I'll get started and it's a bit easier to...
Sure, so we're going to start off playing against the AI.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's almost more of an abstract board game, like something like chess, rather than a card game. Mm-hmm. Although you use cards, like these are your units.
Nice.
But they're all placed on this grid on the board. So like if you would be playing the physical version, you would lay them out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I read online somewhere someone compared it to tic-tac-toe meets Risk, which I thought was
that's quite a valid assessment, I reckon. And the whole goal of the game is like, this is the city card here.
Yeah.
In the middle, that's always stays there. You can't do anything with this.
So that's the objective. That's kind of what you're fighting over.
This green highlighted square is my base.
Sure.
So I always need to put a card down here first.
Sure.
And then the goal of the game is to extend a supply line around the city.
And the supply line, is that noted on the cards?
So the card is always, the cards are the supply line.
I see, yeah.
But if you check, and then if you occupy the opponent's base, that's a one game.
Sure, that's the victory condition.
If
Steve in the chat. Hey Steve, how you doing? Nice to see you.
If the cards would run out without anyone occupying either base,
yeah,
the person with the most units on the board wins.
I see. Okay.
So often there's like a breaking point halfway through the game where you notice like maybe it's time to.
Right. So you've got a fixed amount of cards at the start of the game, kind of in your deck, and once you've used all of those, it's whoever's got the most cards in play wins. I see. That's nice.
So then everything is based on this grid layout. So if you look at the cards here, this first diagram here is where a card can be placed.
Sure.
So a card draws supply from other cards on the board.
I see, right.
Except for the base, it's always supply. So you can always put a card on the base.
Right, and you've got to kind of extend your supply from there by placing down cards. I see.
So if you put a card here, the normal supply draw would be like to a card like either on right or left or top or bottom.
I see, yeah. Some really nice card art there. Where did that come from? Is that from the digital version?
No, these are basically the same as the cards in the physical game.
The physical version, rather.
I think
nice.
I might have some.
Ah, nice. Got some of the physical ones with you as well.
So here we go.
Nice.
Here they are. And these are like nice poker cardstock.
Yeah. Very nice.
But it's made by a UK-based designer called Holden.
Okay.
So
nice.
yeah, he did a really good job.
Shout out for him.
Yeah, big up, Carl.
And what was this game made in? What did you use?
Unity.
It was made in Unity. Nice.
So we got, it's on Steam at the moment, but we got iOS and Android probably like a couple of weeks away.
Cool. And when was this released?
It was released, what is it, like 2 months ago?
Right, so relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Let me put down some cards and
sure. We've placed the skirmishers there.
The AI is fairly aggressive, so...
so what happened there? Can you talk us through that? So you placed your skirmishers down on your base.
Yeah, and then he placed an artillery, which took out my card, and this marines.
And the artillery are ranged units, right?
Yeah, so the artillery, so the first diagram here is where you can place the card, right?
Yeah.
The second is where you can attack.
Sure.
A card only attacks once when it's placed.
Okay.
After that it stays and provides support fire, which is this one.
Yeah.
And normally a card will always need both an existing card on the board, already supplying support fire, plus the card you just played, attacking. Yeah. So you need like 2 cards to take out a card.
Right, I see. So to wipe out a card off the map, you need both.
But artillery is a special card, so it's got like, you see this explosion
compared to the target
rather than this.
Okay.
So an artillery can take out any card directly in front of it, or one space behind.
Okay.
So if I do that one first, that's 1, 2, boom.
Nice.
And this is often like the opening game is often like taking out the base card.
Yeah,
because that means that
their supply is
exactly, and the next person needs to put down a card here.
Sure.
But now we can see like this artillery card can now go anywhere around here
because it's in supply. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
But if I put this card here,
right, it won't be able to wipe out the unit in front of it because
it
doesn't have.
But this card is only supporting attacks.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll do that.
We've got Steve in the chat there saying, "By the way, I am the best at this game." We'll have to play. Oh, so we lost.
Oh yeah. So as I said, the AI can be fairly ruthless in the.
Yeah, so we can be really aggressive. I was just about to say, Steve, you'll have to come in here and play Nils at some point, given that he developed it. But we might have to eat our words there. So how did you find adapting kind of a physical game into a digital one?
Well, one of the good things is that things like game balance and testing, like when it comes to the game mechanics, that stuff is already done.
Yeah, it's all kind of accounted for already.
So that's nice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, because Auroch Digital made Chainsaw Warrior, and that was a direct... Well, we made 2 Chainsaw Warrior games. The first one was directly adapted from the Games Workshop board game. And so, yeah, like you say, all the kind of the gameplay elements were already in place, and it was basically a case of kind of make this a fun digital experience. And then with the second one, we kind of started to expand on that, add new gameplay elements and a bit more kind of UI stuff. And so yeah, it was an interesting kind of development journey.
Yeah. So I'll show here. So now we've got the infantry placed down. So he will provide support fire straight ahead.
I see. Yep.
And then the Marines is a special card that can be deployed diagonally.
Right.
So now.
So you could play him there, and he's got the support.
He will be attacking, and the infantry is supporting.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's really nice. The other thing, it's a conscious, because this was quite a small project. So we used the card art. We kept the board looking like you're playing the card game.
Yeah, sure.
Which is it's not something you have to do. Like this could just be units. Yeah. Like 3D models.
Yeah, sure. I think some of that card art's really, really quite gorgeous though.
Yeah, exactly. So that's because we had all of that stuff for free.
Yeah, why not use it?
Even like the UI and things are based somewhat on the card designs.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I would say for someone starting out with games development, it's quite a good thing to do.
Sure.
Find someone, maybe
adaptation.
Yeah, maybe license something.
Yeah.
And
definitely
keep the scope down, get something released.
Yeah, sure. When you've got all the kind of assets readily available. Yeah, definitely.
And also nowadays there's so many board games being made, so it should be fine to find something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
a lot of the board
games out there at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of the board game publishers are quite keen to get a digital version done.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's been shown many times that having having a digital version actually drives sales.
Yeah, exactly, and especially with the advent of Kickstarter and stuff like that, you know, it's a kind of interesting stretch goal or kind of like tier reward to be able to offer both a physical version which you can kind of sit around and play with friends and stuff, and then a digital version which you can, you know, is more of a kind of easygoing experience, pass the time, you know, on a lunch break or something like that.
Exactly. And like personally, I find like games like this that are like, if a game is either fast to play or it's more of like a turn-based, almost like an abstract game where you can submit a turn, and if you come back to it an hour later, you take one view of the game board, and you sort of know, like in chess, like this is my best move.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than like more of the social board games that, you know, you would have to actually be connected for.
Yeah, definitely. So does the multiplayer offer, is it asynchronous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice.
so the game is written in Unity, but we got our own server solution.
Nice.
So once we go live on iOS, it will be cross-platform multiplayer and everything.
And were there any differences that you brought in? Oh, so I noticed, what was that card that you dragged here from the left-hand side?
Oh yeah, so these are the airstrikes, so that's when you have no other option, you can just go and
you
take
drop it in
any card out.
Right, and that's just a one-hit kill.
Yeah.
Nice. And you drop 2 cards per turn, is that right?
Exactly. First turn, it's 1 card, and then after that it's always 2.
Sure.
I'm in a little bit of a pickle here again. It's funny, like the AI is... So we had an AI for Hill 218, which was famous for being very, very hard.
Yeah.
And this one is based on that, but since there's a lot of new mechanics, it's not really as powerful.
Yeah. Steve's saying in the chat there, something Nils won't tell you is that the AI is based on me, but they had to tone it back because no one could beat it. So is that what you're talking about?
It's more actually based on me.
Right.
So all the new stuff I've been teaching it, which means that when I play it,
it learns from you.
The games are often very short, and like it's very, very aggressive.
Yeah.
But then I've seen people play it on YouTube and stuff, and the games go on forever, and I was like, what's going on?
Sure.
So
there is a good amount of kind of tactical depth to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Were there many differences between this and the physical game?
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of like new units, and the strategy has changed a lot.
Nice. So that's a drop squad then?
Yeah, so a drop squad, as opposed to every other card, it has to be played without supply.
Right. Okay. So it's kind of like it's been dropped in behind enemy lines.
Exactly.
Kind of, right.
So I could place him there because he's not in supply.
Yeah. Sure.
Take it out.
Am I right in thinking that Battle for Hill 218 wasn't kind of set in this same sci-fi kind of setting?
Yeah, Battlefield 218 is like a straight up World War II.
Right.
And
so with the drop squad, would that have been something like paratroopers?
Paratroopers, yeah. Right. But the way the game looked as well was like very dry, like stock footage, World War II, black and white.
Yeah, kind of bleak.
Yeah. So this is like a big step up in production value.
Sure. What was the decision behind the new sci-fi setting? Was it just to get the kind of new units involved and kind of...
Yeah, I think Chad, who's the publisher, found the artist.
Right.
And basically said, let's do it. The early iterations of it was set in... was like some sort of war game thing, like French or...
Okay, like sure.
They had like cavalry and stuff like that.
But yeah, always opt for the cool laser guns.
Exactly. So yeah, now this shock troop is one of the best units because it can attack.
So it can attack diagonally and it can draw and supply.
Yeah, so this
supply?
Is
that what the stars and the...
Yeah, so the stars are like another... So with this game, if you haven't played this game and you can find a copy of Hill 218, I'd say play Hill 218 first.
Right, I see.
Because every new unit in this game sort of adds like a special clause or...
Right, yeah,
so this one is like a marine. It can deploy diagonally, but when it does, it doesn't actually establish a supply line.
Okay, I see.
So now, because this card is here, the supply line is actually fine. So I could put a card like here or here. But if this card wouldn't be here, I could still have placed my shock troops there.
But you couldn't build off from that. Right, I see.
So I need my airstrikes back.
So you only get 2 of those in the entire game.
Yeah.
Right, I see.
And since he was threatening me next to the city, I had to.
Right, I see. Yeah. So he's kind of trying to flank you there. It looks like.
So. Like really basic strategy. Whenever someone's got a card next to the city, that's like when your alarm bells should really go off.
Yeah, sure, because like you say, there are units that can attack diagonally, and then your base is under threat.
Yeah, so if you got the Marines, which can go diagonally, and if you got an airstrike, that's like an instant win.
Ah, okay.
So now I haven't got airstrike, but I do have the shock troops. Oh no, he's not. Oh yeah, so he wasn't actually being supported. But still.
So if you've just joined us, guys, it's Auroch Digital and Large Visible Machines. Nils Hellberg here. We're playing Battle for Sector 219, 219 or 219?
219.
219. And we're just playing through it at the moment. Nils is talking through the kind of rules and the different tactics that get employed throughout the game. And yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on.
So last turn I didn't have the support flyer.
Yeah.
So I dropped him in.
Right.
And
okay.
this time did the same thing.
You've got this unit kind of support behind the scenes and there you go.
There we go.
You win. Nice. Cool. So yeah, lots to do there. I played a couple of games before this, and they were over kind of really quickly. I was either finding quite a quick route to their base, or they were just wiping me out. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, we'll play a few more games if you're up for it.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't played this game, it's available on Steam, and there's also the iOS version.
iOS and Android should be out. We're sending out the beta builds for testing probably like Monday, Tuesday.
Nice.
Hopefully it shouldn't be anything too big. The main thing we're doing is switching out the Steam integration to Game Center. And
sure, all that boring behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that's your kind of future plans for the game. Is there anything longer term?
Well, what we want to do is do a Hill 218 version.
Right.
Which is basically switching out all the art and switching...
Taking it back to that kind of World War II setting.
Because that was only ever available on iOS. And so when we did that one, it was actually published by someone else.
Yeah.
So I think it's even gone from the App Store now.
Right, I see.
But so we still got the new license. So
nice. So talking tactics, do you have a kind of set play style? Do you generally, so like you've got the drop squad, they can kind of go in behind the scenes, behind the enemy lines, and they can kind of dictate things from behind there, or do you try and flank opponents by kind of taking things out wider than they are, and or is it just a kind of play it by ear, see what happens?
It's mainly like try to. No, he's going to win. Try to keep an airstrike back.
Yeah.
So you can do the airstrike marine combo. That's always really good.
Right. Yeah. So it's I guess once you get to know the game, it's finding those kind of links between different units and
yeah.
So almost like in chess, like you're saying, if you can see sort of an established pattern and you have the units to make that move, then it's kind of you've got a route to the kill.
And you find that like if you play if two very experienced people play like the early and the middle and end game, they're basically three different types of gameplay.
Yeah, sure.
And the early game is like quite you switch airstrikes and artilleries.
Yeah.
And then I think the middle game is where the real like clever strategy.
Yeah, sure. It's finding those moves where it might not necessarily look like you're doing anything in the short term, but in the long run you're kind of covered.
And I said it's a lot about like try to get these threatening positions. Playing against AI, you want him to waste his airstrikes.
Yeah.
And that's also often done by occupying these spots here.
So how many cards are in the deck? Because you were saying, if you've just tuned in,
I think it's 28 per person.
Right.
Have a look here. 26.
26 per person.
So it's 26 including the airstrikes.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Nice. And so if you mulligan at the start of the game, you can swap cards out. Does that swap ones with another one in the deck, or does it?
The ones you put them at the back of the deck.
Right. I see.
So that you get the cards. Those are the two last cards you draw, basically.
I see. Okay, so there could be some tactics in that as well.
Yeah, that would be playing it very, very long.
Yeah.
But sure, you can do.
Also,
this screen here is like super important.
Right.
Because like if your opponent doesn't have any Marines left, then obviously you can't win by using an airstrike.
Yeah, by using that combo.
And then you can leave him be and do other things.
Nice.
And as I said, Shock Troops is like super powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's the only card that you can place
diagonally and attack diagonally. Yeah, they seem pretty rad.
Skirmishers is quite an interesting card because it never attacks.
Right. Okay. But as I can see there, it supports in all directions.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a very nice card to have at your base.
Right.
Because that means that you always support.
Yeah, you're always covered. Yeah. Nice. No sneak attacks. That's really cool. You come across any kind of difficulties during the development? Anything with the adaptation or?
No, the only tricky bit was the multiplayer, and because we didn't want to end up with two different sort of code bases for playing games.
Sure.
We're playing the AI and we're playing
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've come across some of the stuff with some of our projects. Yeah, multiplayer integration is always a bit of a tricky one. We'll keep that PG.
So, yeah, I think I think you can still, like, some of the animations aren't as fluid when you play someone online.
Right.
Like, it depends a bit as well, because you can obviously, if you start a game and you play someone live, so to speak.
Yeah.
Everything like happens as soon as they take the turn.
Yeah.
And then it's very much like playing the AI. But when you come back to a game, to replay the turn.
Sure.
That I'd say that's the only tricky stuff we had to deal with.
Yeah. So what have we got going here? Drop a skirmishers in, and that's going to provide kind of backup fire.
Yeah, so I could drop him in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I sort of want to limit the AI's movement a bit as well.
That card art on the skirmish is really nice. Is that it's like a drone?
So the green team is basically like the humans.
Yeah.
Sort of.
In their big awesome mech suits. Nice.
And then this opponent is more like the alien.
Right. Sure. Yeah. I see.
So here we go. Like, this is more.
Oh yeah, a bit like the squiddies from the Matrix, kind of, or also a bit like the tripods from War of the Worlds.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. And so, obviously, like you say, it's a relatively kind of simple game on paper. It's you've got your grid and you place units and they can attack and defend and supply. But I guess the replay value in this really lies in the kind of tactical options. It's finding different ways to deploy your units, finding different ways to kind of preempt what the opponent might do, and kind of trying to lure them into traps and stuff. There's there elements of that?
Yeah, and obviously playing a human opponent is how I think you should play it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's that being said, we might tweak the AI a bit further and make it harder, because I'd say, like, if anyone plays 50 games of this, they gotta start beating the AI.
Yeah, sure.
I'm playing a bit bad now because I have to talk at the same time.
Yeah, I would be playing, but in case you've noticed, I've got a broken wrist, so I'm kind of out of action. Hence our special guest for the week.
Yeah, but that's a good.
Yeah, it's a good out.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a boring story really. I was just playing football this time. I've broken it in more interesting ways before, but yeah.
We're gonna keep it P.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing a human is like, that's all the stuff that you think you got your tactics works out, and
and all of a sudden they can just throw a complete spanner in the works.
Yeah, it was interesting when we did release Hill 218. The publisher probably played like thousands of games.
Yeah.
And he's like I'm winning 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, if I get a particularly bad draw, I might lose a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game was out on iOS for like a couple of months, and found its way to like the really like mathematical gaming people.
Definitely.
And someone brought it up in like a forum, and it's like, yeah, guys, you should check this game out. It's pretty deep and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it took them like 2 weeks
before they
and
were.
And then they were playing Chad, the publisher,
yeah.
and he just smashed it.
Yeah,
And writing like strategy guides and everything. And
yeah,
like,
it's great.
I have no idea how
That's
this
great.
happened.
Seeing, I think probably developers probably get that quite a lot when they make multiplayer games. They think they know all the kind of intricacies and nuances of all their games, and then all of a sudden there's just always going to be someone who has that much time or that much enthusiasm for the game, and they just absolutely, you know, they look at it in a different way, and they just find these different paths, these different ways to go through it, and all of a sudden they're just wiping the floor with the people who came up with the concept. It's great.
Yeah, it's good. We're working on another game at the moment called Doomstar.
Yeah.
Which is also, it's a board game, also like an abstract board game. A bit like Stratego, if you play that.
I haven't played Stratego. No.
It's sort of like chess, but with hidden pieces.
Oh, sounds interesting.
So you don't know where the opponent's king is until he starts moving around. Some of the pieces are revealed, and obviously, if you attack a piece, you flip it over.
And so is Doomstar? Did you say?
Yeah.
And is that directly based off that, or is it kind of borrows elements from it?
Well, so the board game, it's a straight board game design.
Yeah.
But it's never been published. It's made by this quite well-known board game designer called Lou Pulsifer.
Yeah.
Who used to do loads of games like
Pulsifer
in the 70s.
is a great name, isn't it?
Yeah, Lou Pulsifer.
If you're going to be a game designer, call yourself Pulsifer. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he made it like back in the 70s or 80s.
Right.
And but he's a funny dude because he never plays games. Like he designs them and he has them play tested.
Yeah.
But you know, he always says like the game I play is like the game design.
Yeah, yeah, sure. He's more about the concepts and finding ways to make that something that other people enjoy rather than yeah.
So here's something interesting happened. Like the AI took out my base card, which is normally a very good idea.
Yeah, but have they done that with their second move?
Yeah, so now it's my turn, and one thing that happens when you clear the base card is that you open up the artillery.
Yeah.
So now I can put that in.
Take that.
And take his out.
And then. Is that your supply?
Yeah, my supply is fine. It's just I've got too many drop spots. There we go.
Very nice. So you've gone victory clutched from the jaws of defeat there.
Yeah.
Nice. Really nice. So yeah, Doomstar, how's that coming along?
Yeah, so that's in sort of closed. It's like early access.
Sure.
Or closed beta, whatever you want to call it.
And that's on Steam?
It's going to be on Steam. But we're doing the full release on Steam. We're not doing early access. We're doing early access on itch.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. How's that going so far?
Yeah, good.
Nice.
The main thing there is the AI is very tricky.
Sure.
Because we got hidden information.
Yeah.
Bluffing.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Trying to program something. A machine to bluff and try and mess with you like that. I know.
But you know, there's little tricks you can do. Like he can pick like 2 units at the beginning, and play them both as the king.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, sure.
And,
so yeah, like that sounds very, very in depth. So this takes place on a bigger board or grid than.
Yeah. So it's quite. I think it's 11 times 12 grid times 9.
Right. So big old grid then. Lots going on.
Yeah. So it almost looks like chess, but it's quite a lot quicker and more fluid.
Right. Nice.
It was fun that we took a paper prototype to UK Games Expo, which is a board game convention.
Yeah.
We got a bit of digital as well, and it's funny to see like how different people play games.
Yeah.
Like we had some people who would like be so tactical and hold back and move a piece one step and move it back again.
Yeah.
And, talking too much again. Yeah, and they would like spend an hour playing a game.
Yeah.
And then you would have like the normal would be like 20 minutes to
Right, yeah, when you just shoot through it. I guess that's knowing a game, but then, yeah. So, when is that kind of due for release, do you know?
Probably September sometime.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck with that. And if people want to get in touch with you or find out more about your kind of projects and stuff, where would they go?
Yeah,
You're on Twitter?
Yeah, Visible Machine at Twitter.
Yeah.
largevisiblemachine.com for the normal websites.
Sure.
And then itch and Steam to check out the games.
Great. Awesome. Well, yeah, we can. We'll provide some links below, and we'll pop those in. In fact, we can pop those in the chat. Let's pop those in there in that way. So it's at Visible Machine for your Twitter, or Lars Visible Machine?
At Visible Machine.
Nils' Twitter. And then larsvisible.machine.com, where you can get him for more kind of general information. Oh, no, I'm using a Mac, of course, so that's shown up the wrong way. Not a big fan of Mac. Cool. So, how's it going this game?
I'm hedging my bets on artillery.
So you've used both your airstrikes already?
Yeah, and I didn't get one.
So what's going to happen here if you put... So you don't have any support?
Yeah, so I would either need... Because I need to get rid of this dude.
Right.
He hasn't got any airstrikes either, though.
Ah, and you can see in here what
he's got some marines.
Left. Right.
He's got some artillery.
Potentially a bit of a trick.
Yeah, so
you're kind of up against it here a little bit?
Yeah, I guess if I take this card out, I should be fine for now. If he had an airstrike, he could just take that out and then attack me.
Okay.
Now I've got my artillery, so lucky draw, boom.
So you take out his base, and then you've got the supply. Oh, and you win again. Awesome. Very nice.
I think I'm starting to learn this game.
Yeah, at long last. How about you put in a shocking amount of hours into playtesting this, right?
Yeah, it's been quite a few. And there's also like when you have to like test end game conditions and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, given so part of my role, I'm the community manager for Auroch Digital, but I'm also the kind of chief tester. And the amount of victory conditions is always a really tricky one, and AI is often the kind of keeps me up at night. So I really like these drop squad units. They look really quite effective.
Cool. Like if you place them the first move, you can establish the support fire.
Yeah.
And then just
definitely
lay it down.
Oh, so it's another very hot Friday afternoon in our streaming room. Got the fan on, kind of cooling our ankles, but swelteringly hot room as always.
So what are you working on at the moment?
So we've got a couple of cool things on at the moment. We've got probably the most exciting thing we have on is, I don't want to say most exciting, but we've got Dark Future, our adaptation, it's Dark Future Blood Red States, which is our adaptation of the, it's another board game adaptation, a Games Workshop title from, I think it was 89, 88, something like that. It was the late 80s, the kind of heyday of Games Workshop board games. And so it's kind of Mad Max style car combat game, bit of a kind of post-apocalyptic, everyone's gone batshit in crazy. We're really looking forward to that. We're kind of, development is coming along really well. We're going for something quite new, unique, because it was a turn-based board game, but we didn't think turn-based would work with speeding along a highway. So we've got kind of, if you imagine the game mode is you're constantly going along at a sort of fixed speed, but then you have kind of time control. So we're calling it, I think the genre that we're calling it is vehicular time shift action strategy. So you can kind of really slow down time or effectively pause it, or just slow it right down, and then you can kind of establish your next couple of moves, and then they'll play out as you resume the game. So we're really excited about that. And we have recently announced a collaboration with Steve Jackson Games.
I saw that.
Yeah, for Ogre, which is really exciting. That was a massively popular board game. I think same sort of era, late 80s. We're working with Steve Jackson Games on that. Development's just started on that. Really, the collaboration was announced a week or so ago. But that's really exciting, and that's been met with a lot of enthusiasm. So
there's actually. They just released an Ogre version of this game as well.
Oh, really?
So it's Ogre Objective 218.
Ah, very nice. Cool. Well, we need to check that out.
Yeah. So it's the same gameplay, but you got like the Ogre,
sure,
which uses up both your turns to play.
Right, yeah, so you've got this kind of this giant futuristic tank. That's awesome. We'll need to check that out. We can maybe do that in a future stream.
But so Dark Future is that going to be multiplayer as well? Because the time thing is going to...
It's single player and PC only so far. We're not sure at the moment whether in an ideal world we'd love to make it multiplayer, but at the moment we can't say for sure. Okay. But yeah, it's going to have a really kind of rich storyline. There's loads of stuff. We're working alongside James Swallow, who wrote quite a few of the novels set in the Dark Future universe. So we've got a kind of narrative informed by him, and we've also been working with scientists to kind of ground it in reality, because it's some of it is far-fetched, as you just kind of expect it to be in the kind of Games Workshop arena or sphere. But yeah, we want those ideas to have a kind of basis of reality, a sort of believability. So yeah, really, really excited about all of that. Should be able to share a little bit more information on the kind of the science and how it informed the game soon. So yeah, look out for that. Obviously, twitter.com/Auroch Digital, facebook.com/Auroch Digital, and then there's darkfuture.info, which is the kind of that's your place for all the most recent Dark Future developments. So yeah, check it out. Come and hit us up, say hello, and we should hopefully have much more to share with you regarding that kind of stuff very, very soon. But yeah, what about you? You got anything? So you're working on Doomstar, like you said.
Doomstar, yeah.
Yep. And anything longer term?
I've got a very, very early project going, which is going to be a sort of. It's too early to say too much, but it's like the elevator pitch would be Football Manager meets XCOM. Wow,
that sounds absolutely bonkers, but I love it.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, me and Nils are both big football fans, and I won our Euro sweepstake.
Yeah, quite a hefty price.
Quite a hefty price, yeah. I don't think everyone knew what they were getting in for when they were putting in those tenors. So yeah, so you're going to airstrike this because they're starting to build an offensive down that side?
Yeah, I've been concentrating on talking again.
Yeah.
Here we go, have I got Marines? Yes. So, boom.
Right, I'm now beginning to see how effective
starting to pick it up.
Yeah.
I think like after we released this on Steam, I consciously didn't play for like 2 months. But it's starting to come back now.
Yeah, sure. And do you like jump in and play online matches now and then?
I do, like also because if I see a game going, I'd like to take it. But to be honest, I reckon it won't be until we hit the mobile releases that it's going to be like very
when it really comes when it comes into its own in terms of multiplayer.
Yeah, I think most PC players, they just play the AI.
Yeah, sure.
With mobile, it's more like a thing like you pick up your device. Yeah. You go through take 5 turns.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you need to, you can set it by your side. Yeah, I think I assume that's probably the case for quite a lot of indie developers. You know, they'll give their game multiplayer kind of functionality, but it's kind of the constant battle of getting a big enough community playing it all the time, isn't it?
Obviously being totally turn-based helps.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Having that asynchronous play does help a lot.
But you still need people to go in and check.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So yeah, the mobile game, am I right in thinking you said hopefully a couple of weeks that'll be available?
It depends how it goes with testing, but we've run it on a few devices and hasn't been any problems.
Awesome.
The UI needs a little bit of work, but I don't know if you can see here, this is sort of already almost like an iPad in. Yeah,
definitely. I like that kind of tilt. The tilt background is nice.
This is the actual game designer who designed the card game. One of his first feedback was this tilt effect is making me motion sick. So we got
right. So that's one of the two options in the
game. Darwin Castle slider.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Right. I see. Oh, right. And I've just noticed as well that this is how big the grid is. It kind of goes around the outside here.
Yeah. So you can like zoom out. So that's
okay. Right. Yeah. So it's bigger than I thought.
And there's no like when you play the physical game, you can.
Sure, you can keep building and expanding.
But we did notice that when we put another layer, another grid in here, the AI started thinking a bit too much.
Right. Yeah, we don't want that. There's one thing we don't want is machines thinking too much.
It's funny. There's a few things that makes the AI think for a long time.
Yeah.
None of them has anything to do with how good you play as a human.
Yeah, sure.
But again, when you see people play online on YouTube and stuff, they do a move and then the computer starts thinking.
Yeah.
They're like, haha,
Yeah,
take that.
Yeah, I've got you now. Yeah.
And I've always found it fun. It's like if the AI is actually sitting there, like, should I do this or should I do that?
We've got someone in the chat there saying, does the game support local multiplayer? We want to see Jake play Nils. We could maybe in a future stream we could possibly set up so
we
that
would
we're
need
playing.
like a second.
Yeah, we'd need another machine, but we could arrange that.
Yeah, in the
Battle of the Giants.
The tablet version has pause and play multiplayer.
Okay.
That wouldn't make for very good Twitch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Look at the back of an iPad while we pass it to each other. So yeah, we're coming into the last sort of 10-15 minutes now of the stream. Hope everyone's enjoyed it. Yeah, we've got Steve in there, nattering away. And what have we got going on in Sector 219?
Yeah, so I want to get rid of this card.
Sure.
The only thing that could do it is a shock troop, which I haven't got. So I think I'll bite the bullet and use the airstrike. So when I said before that you should try and keep one airstrike back, another thing is that don't keep two airstrikes back.
Yeah.
Like so many times I've played this game against people and they never use their airstrikes.
Right.
You forget about them.
Yeah, because it's one of those things, isn't it? When you have such a powerful ability or a unit in a game, there's kind of it almost never feels like the right time to use it.
Is this wasting it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you see generally the more successful players are the ones that just kind of go full steam ahead and they set up and then they've got a big enough base to build from, or any game like this, they've got enough units down to that they're already far enough ahead by that point.
And this is the thing. This game is a lot about initiative. Like who is the attacking player?
Sure.
And as long as you can be the one putting down cards, so the opponent has to defend and react, that you're gonna eventually win.
Sure.
And the airstrike allows you to do that.
Cool. Well, yeah, because it not only does it kind of put them on the back foot, it frees that slot, which if you have supply, you can then instantly move into that.
Yeah, also another interesting thing is like when you play your airstrikes, you get more cards in your hand because you still draw the same amount.
Okay. I didn't think about it like that, but yeah.
It's not a viable strategy to play them just because of that.
Just to gain an extra card. But yeah, if you because you if you play your airstrike first, then you still get your extra move, don't you?
Yeah. So what happened was now I played my second airstrike just to put it on the line when I say to do it, and the opponent has replied by playing his airstrikes as well.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's a kind of null and void.
Yeah. But that probably means that he might gain the upper hand. So what I'll do is I'll waste one of my marines to put it up here and again threaten him.
So that they will need to
deal with this one before they do anything here.
Right.
And again, because he hasn't got his airstrikes left, this card isn't as threatening as it would have been.
Right, I see, yeah. And I
don't really know what that's all about.
Do any units provide supply going diagonally?
Only the skirmishers.
Right.
So,
support, right? Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Supply. Yeah. So supply is always you draw supply from somewhere.
Yeah.
It takes a while to wrap your head around like the whole supply thing.
Yeah.
But once you figure it out once, then it's fairly.
Yeah, it becomes. So yeah, I suppose if you think of it almost as like you're just kind of, it's almost like you're building a road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way of thinking of it.
And a lot of it is about like taking away the middle of the opponent's supply line.
Yeah.
Cutting it off.
Yeah, gaining control of their road almost.
Yeah.
Nice. I really like those artillery units. That range is really effective, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then it goes to show it's effective for them as well. So what we got? So yeah, we've got those nasty.
So
drop
now
squads.
my supply line is like becoming very, very
Right.
long. And I think the AI is running out of useful cards. We haven't, like this is probably the longest we played today.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see, they've got no airstrikes left, no artillery left,
so
no marines left. So yeah, they're kind of
the
they're on the back.
direct approach is running out.
Yeah.
So what can I do?
And so does that mean that at this stage, assuming they don't have any drop squads, they need to find a way around you rather than coming through, right?
And also, I've got a lot more cards than him on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, like a viable strategy for me would just be to keep
Place
sitting
cards.
out here
Yeah,
and stopping him from advancing.
Mm-hmm.
But we can try and move forward anyway.
Definitely. Yeah, you want to claim that base for sure. So what have we got? You've got the shock troopers that could move in there.
So this is like one. Oh no. So now this is interesting. I can't. Normally I would put my drop squad up here.
Ah, yes, but
he's not
because
allowed to
that's
go
in
there.
supply now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think I can take this card out with one. I could go like this.
Ah, but then he moves into there, takes you out. But now you've got that supply going all the way around, so you could probably win here. Am I right in thinking? With the shock troops.
Yeah.
And then
either card, except for a drop squad.
Yeah, but the skirmishers or the artillery can drop in there. Yeah. Nice. Well, that seems like a good place to wrap it up. So we won 6 times and lost 3 times. That's pretty good going, given you're the developer of the game.
Yeah, I think since I applied myself.
We'll blame it on the conversation that you lost those 3. But we'll just remind you quickly, in case you haven't been here from the start, you can get Nils on @visiblemachine on Twitter. LarsVisibleMachine.com for his website. Obviously we're on twitter.com/Auroch Digital, facebook.com/Auroch Digital,
and also don't forget, like, if I don't know how you want to do it, but you've got a few codes to give away.
Yes, of course we do. So, I almost forgot.
You were gonna take them all yourself.
I was going to take that code for myself, go home and play it all night. But we, as always, want to run a giveaway competition, and the chat, it's not been the busiest that we've seen it today, so I guess Purple Steve, you are the lucky winner of a Battle for Sector 219 code. Congratulations to you. We'll get a hold of you later on to provide you with that. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll be playing, I'm not sure what we'll be playing yet, but we will let you know in due time, and I'm sure we'll hear from you again soon, Nils.
For sure.
Keep your eyes peeled for the Battle for Sector 219 mobile game, and that's going to be available on iOS and Android.
Yeah.
Awesome. We will catch you next time. Thanks a lot. Cheers.